to call this meeting to order, and we can. Okay, today we're doing In the Wild. We've got a few things to go over at the beginning that we'll talk about real quickly, and then we'll get into judging the competition. So, first thing is there's a reception for our print show.
Okay.
Would you like to talk, or would someone like to talk about it?
I can do the whole thing, right?
So, here you go. Here's the slide.
Okay, so
listen to him, and he's even mic'd up so you can hear him.
And I'm assuming I'm mic'd up and it's working, so I'm getting a nod. Okay, so we're going to trust that that's working. So this Saturday is the reception for our Jester Annex exhibit. Of course, everybody's invited, and tell all your friends and bring your friends along because there'll be food and snacks and photos to look at. If you are bringing something for the reception, we will be there at 2:30. Someone will be there at 2:30 when the doors open to start setting up. I have an overlap. I don't know what time I'm going to be there, unfortunately, but somebody will be there. And so there'll be snacks at the official start time of 3 o'clock and up until 5. And so, yeah, bring your friends and go look at all the cool photos. Lots of good stuff to look at. Okay?
Okay, next one's for you too.
Okay, so Gary's going to be talking about printing.
This is Gary.
This is Gary. Talking about printing in a couple of weeks, and my goal here is to take a very practical approach to it. From why do we want to do this to how do I get a print made and everything in between. My goal is to make it short and sweet. I don't want to spend an hour and a half talking, so I'm targeting about a 45-minute presentation, kind of move through things, but leave time for questions as well so we can deep dive if we need to. But we'll be talking about that and going through some of the practical aspects of image preparation, things like that. Live demos of something like that, as well as I'm doing PowerPoint slides. Ooh. So something you go back and refer to after the after the fact. Okay. So I think that's
all for you.
Okay. Do we have photo walks on here?
Yes. Your new ones that you just did? No.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. He'll talk about some photo walks that he just sent an email out about an hour or two before the meeting.
Just today, I sent out the meetup notices, put up the Facebook notice, sent an email to the NAPfS folks about a couple of photo walks. Saturday morning, November 23rd in Green. Go wander around. This is not a market day in Green, so it should not be as crowded, and we're going to get there at 9 before everybody and their grandmother shows up to shop. Okay, so we want to get there early, try to avoid the crowds as much as we can, spend a couple of hours looking around. Green's lots of fun. The river's very cool this time of year, so we're hoping it'll be a very fun outing that morning. And then go have a lunchtime after that and spend time visiting.
Question on that one
yes,
before. Are you going to have any kind of a meetup for carpooling to go down?
So on the meetup notice and in the Facebook notice and in the email that I sent.
No, it says just meet down there. But a lot
if
of the
you
others
actually read the whole thing, it says La Frontera at 7:30.
Okay, good. I just looked at it in meetup and I didn't see it.
I'm pretty sure it's there. I could be wrong. Okay, I'm going to go with I meant to put it there. Okay.
Okay.
On the 23rd, La Frontera, 7:30, in front of Austin Telco. Okay, it's a great place to meet because nobody ever parks there. And we'll head down to Green. It's about a 75-minute drive or less, depending on traffic. So we'll do another carpool to get down there. So which is a great way to save gas. Okay. Also, Monday night, December 9th, holiday lights, Georgetown Square. Okay, so get out in the evening, take pictures of Christmas lights, and walk around. I encourage everybody to make plans to attend despite the weather. 4 years running, they've said it's going to be cold and miserable. It's been fantastic. We've had a great time. It's never unpleasant. I mean, last year they said it was going to be cold, and you were there. I mean, we had a great time at Round Rock.
Yeah, in Round Rock.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was beautiful. So do plan to be there despite what they say, because it will not meet their expectations. I guarantee you it never does, okay? So we'll be meeting up in Georgetown for that, meeting in the corner of the square down by the chocolate place. And then I'm starting to look for January and February and see what kinds of things we can do then. So if you got any ideas or someplace you want that I haven't remembered, let me know, okay? I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
And I'm gonna look at Bill. Did I remember everything? Bill? Okay, I'm gonna sit down.
it looks like you have something you're ready to say.
Yes, I'm Ty Lehman, the membership secretary, and you know, Gary is a volunteer, like we all are, and he does a fabulous job with the photo walks, and Ty with the competition coordination. We are looking for continuation of your active volunteer support. We have an opening for vice president. Dennis has done things, and he's going to be, I hope, a member of the club, but he's not going to be our vice president, he said. We also were very sad to find out that Ty will not be our competition coordinator, so we are looking to train someone to be the competition coordinator. Several people, actually. If we want to have our monthly competitions as well organized as they have been, we need to work on that. So if you have the time, we certainly would appreciate your telling me or Bill, any of us that you have an interest and would like to learn about being competition coordinator, especially, is what we need. The vice president is kind of like any other duties is assigned, right, Bill, since you're the president?
It's all help everybody else.
Help everybody else, yes. So, and as a membership coordinator, I wanted to say that we had 3 people, 1 person renewed, and 2 people are new and joining. So that would be Eric Reeder is new, and Samuel, where's Samuel? Samuel's last name escapes me right now. But we've been having new people join, and they presumably either talk to you or they look at the website and join. So tell your friends that you're a photographer and that you have a club that you go to. That would be really great for our recruiting new people.
When you're done, can you hand your microphone to Pat?
Thank you. Okay,
It's like a ballet.
Okay, that's enough of my dancing. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about real quick was starting this Saturday, running from Saturday through the following Saturday. Don't ask me what the dates are. I'm terrible with that. Up in Georgetown at San Gabriel Park, there is going to be a display called the Field of Honor. And it's put on by a lady she works with the Rotary Club up there. And it's a field of American flags on white poles. Last year when I went, they had a couple of hundred. This year they've expanded. The city of Georgetown has given them the entire park, the open field. It'll be 2,000 flags. So if you want to shoot flags and you want to shoot, geometric kinds of things, being the flags on poles, and they're all laid out very neatly and very, it's a wonderful grid. The other is that they have a tower on the northeast corner, and you are allowed to get on the tower. It's designed for people to get up on and view from above. So it's got a lot of, they think about this a lot when they're putting it together.
Interesting.
The nice thing is that if you're on the tower at the right time of the evening, that means that the northeast corner is looking at the southwest corner with the sunset. So it could be some really interesting sunset pictures over this field of flags. So that was my big thing. And then on just real quick on the coming speakers. Is that?
Yep.
Or do you have a slide for that?
I only had one for the next speaker. He's already talked about it.
So we have, I've got speakers booked for January. That's going to be our own Carol Schiraldi. She's going to pick up on her marketing, and so we're going to get Marketing 201. Okay, we had 101 earlier this year. We're going to have 201 to give you some ideas on moving forward with your marketing. And then, what's Dave's last name?
David?
Valdez. So David Valdez is going to be our guest speaker in February. For those of you who don't know who he is, he was President George W. Bush's White House photographer and personal photographer for the number of years that Mr. Bush was in office. So this gentleman will be talking about his years in the White House and being a photographer at that level. Please tell everybody, and we want to fill this place up to the point where we can move next door into the sanctuary where it actually has decent sound, you know, so great. That's it, so thank you.
One other thing, this weekend is Precision Cameras Expo.
Oh.
They will have all of the vendors in-house. So it's a real opportunity to go down, meet the vendors, and they will have presentations running all day Friday and Saturday. We can't stay for all of them Saturday, but Tony Corbell, who is an internationally recognized photographer, will be presenting kind of the last show that you can catch on Saturday.
And Llano or Llano is having their first annual air show. So if you want to shoot airplanes, that's an option. A Saturday. Yeah, it's a busy Saturday.
All right. This is the last notice for the last one in a meeting for the Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy People's Choice Award. This is going to be a competition that will be shown in our holiday party in December, but there's no judges, it's except for People's Choice. And so the idea is to get some more humorous pictures or something that's just cute or makes you feel good, makes you smile. If you see the picture and it makes you smile, that's the kind of picture that we're looking for here. It's going to be just one level with everyone entering one picture, and the winner of the People's Choice, the top winner, will actually get a gift card from Precision Camera.
When are we going to be able to vote on that?
In between November 19th and December 3rd. So just like a regular one, there's going to be about 2 weeks to vote through the website, just like we do now for the People's Choice for the ones we're doing now.
So November 19th is the deadline to submit, or?
That'll be the deadline to submit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ty, is this going to be limited to the past 2 years, like
Past
normal?
2 years, just like all of our others, like all of our normal presentation or normal competitions, 2 years. But we'll hopefully get something just to make us smile, and all the pictures will be ones that we'll show at the holiday party, and then one person will be a winner. All right, so one of the things that we're doing, tried it last meeting, we're going to do it here, is with my phone here. I've got a timer that you would use for table talks in Toastmasters, if anyone's ever been in Toastmasters, but I've recalibrated it for judges. And so the way that I'm doing it here is, we found out last time it was a little short, so for the judge that's assigned to the picture, you have a 1 minute, 20 seconds to talk. And it'll go from green to yellow, and at red you should be wrapped up. And you'll be able to see the timer down here. For the other two judges, they can comment, but they have 30 seconds. So it'll be gray like this, and when it turns green, they should pass the mic on to the other, and that way we can keep everything sort of under control, and we're not all repeating ourselves all the time. So,
Point, counterpoint.
so the first thing we'll do is go through the pictures once so that you can see them, then we'll go back through with judges talking. Oh, and then the other thing is, for the judges, this mouse, if you move that mouse around, you can point at things that you're talking about on the picture. All right, so for the basic, treetop tenants. Are you looking at me, punk? Eagle hunter in Kyrgyzstan. Oh baby, I'm a wild one. And Mother Nature and people. And hovering bumblebee. All right, so whoever.
You're going to hit that?
I'll be doing this. So whoever this is.
That's mine.
I'm hitting start. You can start talking.
Okay, so this one is an interesting shot of blue heron and an egret. If you look at it carefully, there's what appears to be a baby blue heron, and there's also another heron nesting down here. From a success standpoint, the light's okay. It's obviously a midday shot, so the light is a little bit harsh. But what I find difficult in this particular image is understanding what the maker wants us to see. The mass of twigs and branches throughout here and throughout here is, for me, very, it attracts my eye. It takes my eye away from the birds. I'm pretty sure the birds are the focus, okay, but I'm not looking at the birds, I'm looking at the branches because of all that texture there and all that micro contrast that's showing up. So I think it's unfortunate that we've got all of it there. You know, I think tightening this up, I'm still doing okay. Tightening it up in the crop, just so we focus on these guys up here, might improve things. I didn't play with it, so I'm just talking about what's possible. And I think that you know, possibly some processing to bring down the highlights on the branches and twigs so it's less prominent. Maybe bringing up the heron a little bit, the blue heron a little bit, and then I'm already red over there, Ty. Is that okay?
No, that means that you should pass it on to someone else.
Okay, so I'm going to pass it along and stop there. Okay. I see. Okay.
I agree with most of that. I think cropping would be the key to make this more successful, and you know, sort of lighten up on the egret. And you can see that dark spot on the neck there, and that could be lightened up a little bit. But cropping, I think, is a major fix for this one.
Okay, you can say anything you want?
No, I think
Okay.
y'all covered it.
Oh my gosh, we're moving. Whose is this one?
Yeah, that's fine.
You ready?
Okay. Are you looking at me, punk? It says here. It's a nice image. The turtle seems to be ready to defend its spot. You know, no one can approach because he's ready to snap at them. I like the contrast of the colors and the shells and the head and legs areas. That kind of stands out to me. The shot could be a little sharper, I think, and that would really enhance this photo. But overall, I think it's a good image.
So one thing I particularly liked was the reflection around the water. It provided just a whole bunch of energy and really kind of made it a much a punchier image. I also really liked the composition with the rock kind of coming up to the upper left and right corner. I thought that was really quite well crafted.
I'll add here that I think we talked a little bit about having some space here that we don't need on the sides, so a bit of a crop to bring in the sides might be helpful to focus on the turtle and rock. Some processing on the rock to bring down its brightness and make the turtle stand out more against the rock. And finally, it's unfortunate that we're missing the reflection of the head down here. It would be nice if we had that. It's just a nit, okay? These are nits, but I think that it's a cute portrait. It's a really cute portrait of a turtle. I really like that he's looking at the camera. And I think that some work would be warranted.
All right. Can't take the stress.
So I thought this was a really compelling image. I like the fact that it's from a lower angle, so you're looking up at both the bird and the person. Seems like it's very respectful and very close to them. I thought the pattern with the eagle's feathers and the man's outfit provided a really nice mirror to each other, and liked the background on the lower left and lower right where you could kind of see I guess the hilltop in the background. It kind of anchored it and kind of gave it a sense of space. I thought the sky worked out particularly well. Just having a nice light, a little bit of clouds, it provided a sense of drama to it. So I thought it was a very successful image.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I would do here is I would crop off the top a little bit and to the left. And other than that, I think it's fine. I think there's that space above his head there is, it's kind of not needed there at all for this photo.
Right, if we characterize this as a portrait, then tightening it up, I think, is warranted. I do think there's some space there, but I think the choice to get down below and shoot up to get the sky behind them as opposed to that tree line or whatever's back there was a super choice. So a reminder that we always need to be looking at, for shots like this, the background. Once you find your interesting subject and you look at it, take your eye and look at the background to see what's back there and start moving around. Okay? Okay, this one's mine. So what we have here is a portrait of a flower. We have a paintbrush in a field of bluebonnets, and I'm not sure what the yellow ones are. I need to learn more about some of the wildflowers here. So terrific colors, very successful colors. This is, for me, it needs to be tightened up by cropping. There's a lot of empty space here, and we're not focused on what needs to be, I think, subject. So I think that you could go with the square crop, take the top and the bottom back a little bit. I do like the yellow flowers at the bottom. I think there's some space on the left that could be lost as well. The biggest problem for me is the paintbrush itself. The red is not handled well, and so it loses its definition. Even though I'm pretty sure it's in focus, we can't see the detail. And red's a typically difficult color in cameras in general, so I think some work on that could be worthwhile. And while the blur and the bokeh is fantastic and beautiful and lovely and the blue's amazing, we don't need it. Okay, because it's not what the story's about. The story's about is the paintbrush standing out by itself in this field.
Yeah, I think, you go ahead. I think they want us to focus on that red or orange flower, but it's not in focus. So, that kind of kills it. And then the bottom too is a little blurry there that, I think that could be cropped in. I don't mind the blue bonnets in the background. It kind of helps the red flower to stand out, so I don't mind that much, but if that were in focus, then that would be it. To me, it's not.
I like the photo. I kind of like impressionistic type works, and this has a lot of that. And I would experiment with the crop, and I would also experiment with making the red flower less in focus. I mean, like, make it just go all the way towards impressionism, since you don't have the inherent sharpness to kind of correct back for. But I like the way the colors lay out.
All right. All right, so the next one.
Okay, this is mine. Okay, from this photo, I can feel the chills from this shot here. It's make you chill a little bit because of all that ice. The top half is a little blown out, as you can see there. And I think if there was some cropping done, it would enhance the image. On the bottom, I would take a whole lot of that off the bottom and maybe crop to one side, either to the left or the right, and that would really tighten the shot a little bit, and that would improve it. But mainly, the top is blown out, so that's, you're not getting real texture of the ice as much as you could. So that's what I would do with that one.
So I think the other thing I see is I like the structure of the photo a lot, and given the fact that you've got the blown out aspects, I would look at this as a black and white and see if I can actually make the structure of the ice and the mountains pop nicely, and see if there's a black and white image that's more compelling when I'm processing it.
So I'm in agreement with my fellow judges here. I do like the colors in the foliage down here. The colors in the iceberg's fantastic, and the stark rock in the background, but the blown sky is really a problem. Protect the highlights. It's digital, it's not film. Always protect the highlights. You can always bring stuff up in the shadows and post, especially if it's dark stuff. No one's going to see the noise. It's the opposite of film. So always protect your shadows, or your highlights rather, for digital. But interesting composition. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
All right, the last one in the basic level.
Okay, so this one's mine again. I kind of mentioned earlier that I really like the impressionistic the backgrounds here worked really well for me. They were enough the blur was deep enough that it made it feel very artistic and almost painterly, and yet it's kind of got that nice texture to it. The B is the main focal point. I wish it was sharper. The sharpness, I think, is in the green stem, and that came out really clearly, so it's kind of leading me towards the B, and then I'm looking for that punch with hopefully more either micro contrast or focus in the B. A tighter crop, again, thinking about edge control, the lower left and the right side with the yellow is kind of pulling my, oh, sorry, yeah.
Point to it.
Yeah. So this area here and this area here, the yellow there is just kind of pulling my eye towards those edges, and I think it's pulling me away from where I want to be. So it almost feels like it could be a square or even a vertical picture.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, especially this section here kind of bothers me. That kind of stands out there, and it's not adding to the picture, so that should be gone.
Yeah, and I'm going to do one more nitpick here, which is that touches that vertical thing in the background. They need to be separated. It's like, I didn't see it until just now. But it's like, move to the right and get that thing separated. This is how we create that three-dimensional impact in our images, is by separating things that appear to be touching. Agree. Love this lens. Love the blur in this lens. It's fantastic. I'm a fan. Composition with the foliage, fantastic. Successful in very many ways. It's like little tiny things to be aware of. Practice, practice, practice. Doing great.
All right.
That was it, right?
All right, so now we'll show the images the judges picked. We have 2 images because of the number. We'll have a second and first place. And second place goes to Clay. As is tradition, if the person is here, they can say a little something about their picture. So if you would like to say something about how you got this fearsome animal.
Well, I always recommend that if you have a chance to go to the photo walk, that's a great opportunity. This was the University of Texas campus that we did the photo walk, and these were the turtles that are in a pond next to the tower. Yeah. And I had never paid much attention to them, and I know probably you all got lots of pictures, but I did appreciate the fact that, this one held still for me. And some of them were moving around pretty quick. So that's, thanks for the second place. Appreciate it.
Okay, I guess there is fine. First place goes to Leslie, and they're off traveling again, I think.
Again.
And getting more good pictures from all over the world. So they're not here today, but she, I'm sure, is happy that she got first.
All right.
Okay, so now this is the People's Choice Awards. This is where everyone voted, and we got 3 images. So you'll see here that we didn't have bronze, we went straight to silver because they were all so close. We ended up 2 silver medals here, I think. So this one was by Lynn, the Oh Baby, I'm a Wild One.
Joe's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Joe Lynn, sorry, I missed the Joe part. Would you like to comment on it? Right behind you is a microphone. How did you get this picture?
I was laying on my stomach in a field of wildflowers. Now that was shot with a Helios lens, a vintage lens, hence not as sharp as y'all wanted, and great bokeh.
Okay. So where was it at? Where were you at?
You know where Richard Moria Park is on Burleson?
Oh, cool.
A little bit up from that, there's wildflowers everywhere on the side of the road.
Cool.
And I live near there.
Awesome.
Okay, another silver goes to Clay for his picture. Very popular with the people and the judges. And then gold went to Leslie again. All right, so now we have the intermediate level, and we have 12 images this time, so we'll go through them once first, then we'll do like before, and the judges will talk about each one. So let's chat.
No.
Okay, dragonfly. A Latin name for a dragonfly, I'm sure. Great camouflage. Oh, that dragonfly is lunch in this one. You are clear for takeoff. Getting Buzzed, Bull Moose, Breakfast of Champions, Misty Mountains, Nice Kitty, Butterflies Imposters, Sunset over Karachi Lake,
A lake.
over a lake. And so now we'll go through it again and the judges can talk about each one.
All right. Let's chat. Okay, I'm up first. So this is on first glance a fun shot of a pelican and I think a tern or something like that. I'm not a birder.
Laughing gull.
Pardon?
Laughing gull.
Okay, so he knows. So strong elements are that I feel like the pelican is responding to something that has happened, okay, and thus the title. I'm not sure the title fits. I think we could have gone for I can't believe he said that or something like that. So titles are something that require attention. The bouquet is great, but the pier is a little bit distracting back here. And unfortunately, this guy is not in the same plane as the pelican, so he's not in focus, and that's a little annoying. So I don't get that they're connected, right? I see a disconnect between them. This is a case of the two of them are not touching, and they're separated. Okay, that 3D-ness is coming to play here, as opposed to them being involved with one another. Great idea, great moment here. It's like getting the shot really challenging. So I'm a lot of successful elements. I'm not criticizing any of them. Pose is great, crop is great. Like I said, other than in the background, I think, but a lot of really strong points. Love the pelican. Looking at the camera, it's just great.
I would see this as a square image. I think I would lose the top 20% almost. And I'm not sure what the relationship is between the two birds. I kind of want there to be a stronger interaction, and whether it's in the title or in just a slightly different, taking the shot a little bit earlier or later. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be interacting with between the two of them.
On a positive note, I like the eyes of the big bird there. That looks pretty good. And you can see the texture of the body of the big bird. So that's on the positive side. So.
Okay. All right, the next picture.
Okay, I think this is, okay, this is a great shot of a dragonfly. That fancy name there, I had to look it up because I never heard that. And it's a nice close-up. Everything is in focus, and the almost square format used is very appropriate for this shot, in my opinion. The great background nicely highlights the subject, so that kind of brings it out. It really pops, so I don't see anything that's wrong with this photo. It's a great shot.
I really like the strong diagonal line here mirroring the dragonfly. I think that is a really strong kind of composition and structure, and I think it's a beautiful shot.
Okay. I'm going to reiterate on the strong diagonals are great with the wings and the blade of grass or the leaf or whatever we've got here. Lots of focus here. The thing that bothered me the most was I don't feel like the eye itself is in focus, even though I know it is technically, based on everything around it. Lots of really strong elements here. This is a very strong image, beautifully executed. The problem sometimes is that sometimes in the group you have other stronger images. So that's kind of what I'll tell you. That's kind of what's happened in this month's competition.
All right.
So I had this one, a great camouflage, and I think the title captures a big part of the image. I love that. I think that's a horny-toed lizard.
Horned lizard.
Horned lizard, yes. Which I love the structure and the sharpness of the animal itself. A place where I'm challenged is that the tree area. It's just really high contrast, and it is hiding, it's camouflaging the horned lizard quite a lot. Now, I'd just like to be some more separation, either in processing or something, so that we could see the animal a little bit better. I really like the leading angled line here up towards the lizard. I think that really works quite well to help me move my eye and tell me where to go. So I think that's really nice. I might kind of tighten the crop to have more of the overall image being with the subject. But overall, I like it.
I agree with everything you said there. The tighter crop would kind of help to separate the animal from the tree. Though it's supposed to be a camouflage, but we don't want to miss it. So, we want to see it.
So pose and composition, very successful. This is a case of post-processing. We need to get that wood calmed down and bring the toad, the lizard out so that we see it. Even though we know it's camouflage, we want that to be the emphasis. So some work to get everything that's caused by the harsh light into the background, get it settled down, and get that guy forward. And yes, I have him on my hat this week.
All right. Now is lunch.
So this was mine. All right. So wonderful composition here, I think. I really appreciate the texture in the water as the background. We've got reflections of the sky, so you can see some clouds. I think a little bit of the clouds on the top, but also the rocks through the water, which I think is fantastic. The texture of the rocks in the bottom third. The pose of the bird is great. We've got the eye's in focus, the dragonfly's in focus. It's fantastic. Lots of action here going on. I appreciate the color scheme as well. I feel like this could have been an 8x10 brought in from the sides. Okay, I don't know that we need all that space necessarily, and maybe a little from the top here. So again, tighten the crop and bring us what we need to see. Not necessarily everything that you got there might help emphasize the subject, but overall, I think it's a very successful shot, and yeah, I'm a fan.
I like a couple of things really stood out for me. The red with the dragonfly and the green with the eyes. I like the colors there, and that really helped bring my eye right towards that action part of the photo. And then I really love the reflection, the waves in the background. I think that really completely made the photo because it really brings kind of a whole background with a lot of dynamics to it.
Well, it was my shot, so all I can say was there.
You caught the moment. Yeah. I mean, that's all happened very quickly, I'm sure.
Okay, this is right here. You're cleared for takeoff. I think this is a nice shot. I love the expression of the bird's face. The eyes and the beak are very sharp. The space to the left of the photo here give the bird room to take off. So, and that's cool. The only issue I have is that if the feet were included, we could see where it's taken off from. But it would make a better shot. However, with nature shot, we can't always pose them. So, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And I'm not sure what was going on prior to this scene that we're seeing right here. But that would have been a whole lot better for me if we could see what he's standing on and what he's about to take off from.
I think it's I like the photo. I think it's very intense. And I think the way the wings are all kind of bundled up like it's an animal getting ready to jump off of something feels really unique. And I see so many bird shots with the wings are just broad and they're just kind of, they're gliding. This just feels like a whole bunch of energy, which is a different feeling than most bird shots I see.
Yeah, so what they said basically, it's an unusual pose, different. I wasn't sure how I felt about it when I first saw it. After a few times, I thought, okay, there's a lot of energy here. The wings up there ready to flap down to get him to lift off, all fantastic. Great bokeh in the background, the color, the darkness in the background, fantastic. I want to see the feet. And this is the opposite of the one we saw earlier, which is I know there's twigs down there, but I want to see these feet, all right? And you can get the feet in the shot and you can process those twigs so that they're not bright and still have them there. But I need that grounding. I need the context, okay? Otherwise, a very successful moment.
All right.
Okay, so that one is mine. That's getting buzzed. So getting buzzed. There's a lot of stuff really was quite wonderful about this photo. One, I think the pollen in a variety of places is just really playful and really interesting, because you can see, the bees doing it quite a lot of work, and there's a big job here, and I thought that was really quite fun. I think the focus on the subject is super sharp, and I really like the way you've got that in the leaf in high focus, where the background is nicely fading away. Again, in the lower left, I wish that blue part there was not there. It's a little bit of edge control potentially to bring that out. And the lighting is nice and soft, and I think that works really well, keeping the contrast on the bee itself. So I think it's a really successful kind of view of a micro world, which you don't see very often.
I would also add to that to take some of this, eliminate some of this also.
Yeah.
And maybe crop it a little bit. This is in focus, this is very sharp. And you can see that he's doing some work there, like you said, so it's cool. There's a little spot there that I know Gary don't like, these little spots there, Gary.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so you
got to
probably
go.
talk about that, but other than that, I think it's a nice shot.
Yeah. So as you pointed out, that one bit of pollen or whatever it is has to go. I agree. The pollen on this leaf in the lower right is wonderful. Got great context. I'm looking at this thinking what's going on with the bee. So there's a story here that I want to know more about. But I agree that as well that border control or cropping to tighten it up, because stuff on the left, stuff on the top, we don't really care about. And another beautiful lens, great bokeh in the background. So definitely wonderful contrast between the bee and the background.
All righty, here we go.
Okay, this one's mine. Okay, so we got a portrait of a moose, which is awesome. I don't know quite how close the maker was to the moose when this was done, but very cool. Excellent pose, super detail in the fur and the eye, the mouth, the whatever beard, I guess is what we call that, in the antlers, fantastic. Color in the antlers, great contrast, and then that background is everything, right? We got fall somewhere in the northeast or the north, whatever, with the leaves and all this great stuff, and the trees here, the tree here is blurry enough not to matter, so it's fantastic. Okay, I don't think that we need everything on the left. I think we could crop in here. We don't need all of that over there. We don't care about the back half of the animal in this image. The biggest thing for me is that the beard is cropped on the bottom, and I want to see that tip. I think it's critical. Also, processing in the background was fantastic, but we need to do a little bit better masking along that front edge of the beard. Over here, if you look very closely, there's some white spots that did not get caught by the mask when they were working on their background. So close, beautiful work, a little bit more fine detail, fantastic.
I completely agree. It's an absolutely beautiful shot from my perspective. One of the things I really appreciated is the way the background has a left side, which is more orangish brown, and then the right side, which is really the green and the forest itself. It just it was nicely split, and I thought it really provided kind of like a bit of an environment that you feel like the animal is in. It's just versus a static, just single monochrome kind of background.
Yeah, it's a great shot. The only problem I have is that little beard. Really, you don't see the end of it. That's the only thing that I can see. The eyes are real clear and sharp, and the horns, antlers, really. Everything else is sharp, so that's the only little thing. It's just nitpicking, really.
Okay.
This one, let's see. Breakfast of Champions. Okay, I love this shot of an osprey having this breakfast. To me, it's a thrill. I like shooting birds out in the wild, so it's a thrill to watch these birds diving for their food. They can't go to HEB, of course, so they can dive. This shot is well composed. You can see the morning glow in the bird's eyes, and the shot is a little soft, but it doesn't bother me. Since in order to get these shots, sometimes you have to shoot from a great distance. They won't let you get close, or else you'll pick up his breakfast and go somewhere else. So, but that's the only thing I see. I think it's nice and well composed. Anything else?
I really like the bokeh, the blur in the background is very nice, and I just really drawn by the bird with the feathers, and the eye really kind of makes the shot for me. So I like it.
Okay. One thing we talked about at our meeting is that what we'd love to see is some more separation here between the beak and the fish. So this is the kind of thing where if you're not doing continuous mode shooting on your subject, you're probably missing some opportunities. Instead of doing single shots, do a burst of shots. And hopefully one of them in there is just exactly what you want, because there's just some definition would help that. Other than that, it's a really cool shot, beautiful osprey, and the colors, the color palette's fantastic. So lots of really successful elements here.
Okay, so that one's mine. So let's see. So I think this image works really well in a number of ways. I really like the foreground diagonal image, diagonal part of the mountain, which kind of almost bisects the lower third of the image. Works really well. I also really like the top darker cloud because it kind of provides you a frame, and you're kind of going into the image itself, and so it's drawing me in quite nicely. The contrast of the different tones, many people have done either paintings or other things of these kind of mountains, and I thought this one had a really nice set of tones across from highlights down into the lower areas. So I think it was a really successful image, and I think one of the things we talked about in the pre was it feels like there's if we added another element into it, just to provide it, just either where there's a bird or where there's a person, something else to anchor this image would take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think it's a great shot, and we didn't mention the elements. That one element is missing to make it a super great shot to me. You had some birds flying by, of course you can't pose them, and you can't wait there long enough for that to happen, so you got to take what you get out in nature. But I think it's a successful image, and it's real beautiful. I love these types of shots.
Yeah. I think we agreed that as far as another element goes, it does not need a little person in a red jacket. Typical landscape stuff. But yeah, beautiful, for me, a serigraph-like approach to everything with the layers, fantastic, beautiful composition. I like the monochromatic look of it, that it's just very limited in its color range, and it's just moody and glowy and smoky or foggy and all those wonderful things. So yeah, really successful in many ways. Okay, this guy's mine. Okay, so really sharp image of this, we think leopard. I guess it's a leopard. The cool parts are the fangs and the tongue are beautifully sharpened and focused. What I think is less successful here is the eyes are a little weird for me. They're kind of half open, and so I'm not understanding what the animal's doing. I feel like the animal's reacting to something, but I don't get a good sense of what that might be because it's just laying there. It's just kind of at rest. The biggest problem here is all the grass is in the same tonal range as the leopard, obviously because of camouflage, so there's no surprise there. But for our picture, the lighting needs to bring that animal out and put the grass in the background, and there's got to be that separation, and it's really hard in this shot. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying this is a very challenging shot, but those are the kinds of things that need to be attended to, I think, to make this a successful moment with this particular animal, in this particular situation, with this particular pose. So.
I agree with everything Gary said there. I think in addition to the background, I think that I would probably try some different titles that wouldn't just seem incongruous to what the experience of the animal was, but otherwise I think it's just a really amazing shot.
Yeah, there's just a little problem of the separation of the background. That's my big issue here with this one. All right, butterflies imposters. There's a lot going on here, as you can see. The butterflies seem to be attracted to a food source somewhere. The scene is a little harsh, maybe too much contrast. You can hardly see a whole butterfly in focus, to me. But the nature shots, in nature shot, that's the way it is sometimes. You gotta take what you get. The blue butterfly on the right seems to nicely offset what I would call a confusion of the rest of the butterflies. And it should be a little tighter, maybe.
I think there are many shots that I would encourage the photographer to keep shooting in this area, because I think there are tighter crops, there's different ones, but having this many wonderful butterflies in one space, to keep shooting and finding the image that works for you the best out of there. And I actually really am drawn to the blue one, and kind of really wanted to kind of zoom in on that, because I think it's just such an extraordinarily cool color for a butterfly.
Yeah. For me, I think that I'm confused by this image because the blue butterfly captures my eye, right? I want to go look at it's a morpho, I think. I keep wanting to look at that, but I don't think that's what the maker wants us to look at. I think the maker wants to look at the camouflage things over here. So for me, I think that, again, this is a cropping issue, and I think too much here is here. There's too much context. If you want me to remain confused, bring in the top and bottom, bring in the left and right, and focus on just the butterflies and just the trees, so that there's less characterization of the context that we're in, and more confusion for the viewer, where I keep looking at it, keep trying to decode it, keep trying to understand it, for me.
Okay, so sunset. I think this image works really well. The symmetry with the reflection is just almost perfect. And we almost said like it feels just absolutely pristine. The thing that makes it really three-dimensional for me is the rock and the main subject here, which is just gorgeous. It is right below the tree line, and it works very well. I think you got the timing really excellent for the like you said, I think it's alpenglow, where you get the shadows on the mountain to really provide some nice contrast and give definition to the mountains. So I like the orange and green color contrast, and think it works really well. I kind of wish the sky had some other element in it. Don't always get what we want. Even a whisper to of clouds would make a difference. And I wasn't sure if the sky was a little purple, that the tones were as blue or as purple as I would have expected. I wasn't sure if that was just the atmosphere or what, but I really like the image.
Yeah, it's a nice image. Like you said, the sky is so clear, and it just makes the image look like it's just something floating out there. So that's the only little problem I had. I mean, you know, if you had a little ripple in the water, maybe that would kind of set that off. But that's, you know, it's a beautiful shot otherwise. So since everything is so washed out on the top and bottom, I probably would have cropped even more to show less of that.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, just to reiterate the whole, let's bring it down to a panorama, right? Let's get rid of the sky, because the sky doesn't bring anything to the image, because there's a texture to it. It would be great if there were clouds, you know, almost perfect morning. The strong diagonals formed by the trees, the shadow, the edge of the mountain is fantastic, and that rock is everything. Right, that rock is everything in this image, and the way they got enough so that the rock is below the water line, super, so much super here.
All right, you guys can take a little bit of a rest talking. Once I have this going, boy, they talk fast.
The pressure.
There's a clock.
But we get through the images. Okay, so in intermediate, we have 3 of the judges' choices, so we'll go through those now. Third place goes to Michael. Second place goes to Jim. Oh, Jim's online?
Jim's online.
Oh, cool.
Would you like to comment if you turn on your microphone?
Yeah, that was just a morning shot up in Colombia, up in mountains above Santa Marta in Colombia. We had gotten up early to try and get up there in time for the sunrise, and luckily there were the dark clouds above the rest of the mist and everything kind of set it off for me, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and now, first place was to Rose.
Rose is here.
Can Rose talk about it?
Yes, this was taken in Rocky Mountain National Park last month, and this moose was fairly close, and he walked up by the photographers, but we were very frightened, but he didn't harm us. He just walked by and went down to the lake.
They do.
All right, thank you. All right, now we'll go through the People's Choice Awards. And in here, Rose got the bronze from the People's Choice. Rob got silver. Would you like to comment anything about, would you like to say a little something about how you got the picture? And
Yes, this is at Mills Pond. I tracked this guy. He was walking along the bank and looking for, of course, minnows or anything he could get his beak on. And this dragonfly landed on a little branch, and I watched him stalk it. I was trying to get the shot where we caught it. I did, but the branch blocked it out, so it wasn't a good shot at all. But he took it out, hit it on the rock, and it was dead. He flipped it in the air to turn it around so he could get it head first, and that's the shot I got here.
oh, so it's not really flying.
No, it wasn't
It's a dead
flying.
dragonfly.
It wasn't flying.
Tricky. See, now we have the rest of the story.
It's half dead.
And that's the rest of the story.
Yeah.
All right, and Michael got gold medal from the People's Choice Award. Not online. All right, so now we'll go to the advanced. You guys get a breather, you ready? We'll go through these and then you're gonna start talking again. Okay, if you have a drink of water, you better take it now.
Pressure.
Okay, so Feed Me, Midnight Drinker, A Salmon's Lucky Day, Terrestrial Orchid, Great Smoky Mountains, Great Purple Hair Streak Taillights, and Buddies. All right, you ready? Get reorganized.
So much anxiety.
Okay, whose is this?
Okay. All right, so this is a great shot of, maybe barn swallows. I'm not a birder, but these guys are great. The babies, all waiting for mom or dad, whoever this is, to come back. The pose is great. We've got at least the three in the middle in focus. Their beaks are in focus. The action imparted by the parent flying in, out of focus, and coming in to hopefully bring them something to eat. The lines formed by the wood leading to the nest is perfect. You know, the architecture has come into play and helped us out here in the image composition. The color palette with primarily we've got red, lots of red. We've got very dark blue and blue. We've got yellow and white. You know, so very limited color palette. All fantastic. It just tells a great story. It's a very strong image and just a nice peak of action. So it's a very decisive moment, I think, here for this particular scene.
Yeah, I think it's a great shot. The only thing that would make this super is if you could see the mom's beak with the bug in its mouth. But of course, you know, her back is turned to the photographer. But it's a great shot. I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
I love the shot and agree with everything what you guys said. I really do like the parent, the white in the feathers really provide just some energy. It could have been all dark and it would have been more of a silhouette, but the light here really makes it a whole kind of portrait of the mom or dad coming in fast. That's wonderful. Color, I love the color.
Okay.
Yeah. Midnight Drinker. Okay, this is a great shot. There's nice reflection. It seems as though you could turn this upside down and still be a good shot, in my opinion. There's nice focus, great background. There's some bit of dust on the right-hand side. If you look here, there you go. Right here is a little bit of, it's just nitpicking a little bit. Yeah, so I think with it's not very distracting, but I think if you crop from the right side, and I think it would make a better shot. It would enhance the whole photo. I would like to see this in black and white. Probably that would make this a great shot. It would look more natural in black and white to me. If the maker could pull that off, I think it would be great. I don't know what you guys think.
I like the black and white aspect of it. I think it's just, I think it's really kind of an extraordinary, it's a really interesting view, and the composition, it makes it look like a cross, where it's just like the horizontal element and the animal like that. It just looks very abstract, which is kind of really interesting for such a sharp shot.
This is very interesting in that we've got a nice pose from the animal. There's a story there that something's going on. He's reacting to something, or he's wary, or something like that. That's great. But I'm going to double down on black and white here. It's monochromatic anyways, and the yellow tones just are not attractive. This is about shape, texture, and tone. It's not about color at all, because the rhinoceros isn't that color. And the right-hand side needs to be gone because it serves no purpose. This is not a 2x3 crop image. Tighten it up, bring our attention to the animal and the reflection, in my opinion.
Okay, so this one's mine. A lot of this makes a really wonderful image. Specifically, starting with the background, I love the fact that it's so blurry and so kind of streaky, yet the salmon and the bear are just very, very sharp and very well kind of rendered. I like the fact that you feel very close to this bear. Like the fur is very, you can tell the little contrast in the water beads on the bear, and the bear is just like absolutely riveted around the salmon. Coming back to a comment that Gary made earlier, sometimes shoot in more of maybe consider shooting in a continuous flow, and that may be the best of the few microseconds around it. There might have been a better or different one in there. But I really, just the attention and tension between the salmon and the bear is really quite good. I like the shot a lot.
I think it's a great shot also. And as it says, the salmon escaped this one, so the bear's got to go for the other one. So it would have been great if you could see maybe the salmon turn a little bit, maybe if not a fraction of a second, would even be better for that salmon. You could see the whole side of it. But it's a great shot otherwise. The background with the blurred water, but the great texture on the beer itself makes for a great shot.
So yeah, so salmon, like birds, do not take direction well at all, unfortunately. It's like turn him around. Great composition here with the lines from the water, the blur of the water with the sharpness of the bear and the sharpness of the fish, all wonderful colors, tones, all really, really successful. Yeah, so very successful shot. Okay, this one's mine, right? Okay. All right, so we have terrestrial orchid, Great Smoky Mountains. It's very interesting. It's a portrait of an orchid. The orchid is very much in focus, so lots of detail. You can see, if you look very carefully, and I can't pinpoint quite as much, but all the little hairs on the orchid around it are clear, right? So we've got a lot of detail here. I think what's very interesting about this is that the stalk is not straight up and down. And I'm going to assume that the makers had the camera level, and that's what was actually there. So the stalk was at an angle, and that you've got everything in the background also at an angle, very, very dramatic angle. So lots of interesting things happening here with energy in the composition of the image. I think what I'm missing here is I'm missing a story. It's a picture of a flower, and I don't see anything so dramatic in the lighting or the flower itself that tells me anything about more than it's a great picture of an orchid. Okay, so it's a very successful picture of an orchid. It's very pretty, lovely tones. No disrespect intended on that, but that's where it stops for me.
I'm sorry. The background is distracting to me in this shot here. The flower itself is sharp, good, but just the background. That's my only problem with this here. It's just too distracting.
Yeah, I wish the background was more out of focus. It feels like a portrait of a flower, and and as such, it's not as much about the light as it is about the flower itself. And I like it. I wish I'd probably try to look at the contrast in the flower and try to bring that up a little bit. Try to find a little bit more interesting texture in the subject in this case.
Okay, great purple hair streak. Okay, this butterfly has, I've seen these in a while, I shoot some of these. This butterfly has what they call a false head markings in the hind wings. So if that turquoise that you're looking at there, if a predator comes at it, it will be facing it head on, or at least you would think that it is head on, because it looks like a face, so they call it a false head. It's a nice close-up. It has good composition, good background, and colors. But I think the whole image has too much contrast, and to me, the saturation is too heavy on this one. Other than that, it's a nice photo.
I guess with me, I'm kind of, there's a tension between I want to spend time with the flower, because the flower is a very significant part of the image as a major subject. And so I'm kind of looking at the two subjects in the photo, and I'm not sure what the relationship is, and I'm actually drawn much more to the flower element than the butterfly.
Yeah, it's a hair streak, they call it.
So I'm going to agree with my fellow judges here in that I understand what the maker's talking about with respect to the back end of the butterfly being just, oh God, I need my words.
Saturated?
Well, it's supposed to distract enemies, right? And there's words for that. Color of the abdomen, fantastic, the orange, great. I keep looking at the flower. All right, for me, this is about the flower that happens to be a butterfly on it, because there's so much texture and so much detail in that flower and not in the butterfly. And so I don't think that the image is as successful as the maker would like it to have been.
Okay, this is Buddy's, this is mine. So really like this image. I like the kind of the structured composition where you've got the horizon line kind of right at almost at the midpoint, and then you've got the balance between the mesa and the bush kind of high and low. When we're looking on the monitor, the color in the mesa is just absolutely just kind of really gorgeous and really luminescent. It seems like it was probably shot kind of in sunset or golden hour. I like the little flower in the bush. It really provides a structure for that part of the image, because it's a pretty significant part of the image, and it anchors it with really a sense of kind of fun. So I really like it. And I also like the fact that the clouds, there are wispy clouds in there, so it does make a more interesting kind of sky.
Yeah, I think it's a great image. My only little beef is if that foreground, if the flowers there, that bush there, whatever it is, was a little bit off to one side. You know, I prefer that to dead center. But the colors are great. Everything else is great in the shot. So.
This was mine. I can't talk about it other than to say we were up very early in the morning.
You can say you took it.
All right. That is all of the pictures in the advanced group. We had enough that we get 2 judges' choices here. And second place goes to Nick. I think
Probably at a concert or something.
Maybe, but I think we saw a very similar one in black and white, cropped the way you said, and it won first place a while back. Very similar. In first place, that was me. I was at Sonora Caverns, and these are barn swallows. They're at the entrance to the Sonora Caverns. They have a building where you go in and you can buy stuff, and you buy the tickets and things, and these were all over the place attached to that building. And so I just sat and watched them and took lots of pictures of them, and I do have some pictures with them feeding them, but I like this with all their mouths open. And there was one, I mean, this is the one that gets the food this time. And one of the other ones, she landed and had her foot in the mouth of one of the other babies as she's feeding the one beside it. I mean, it's chaotic when they come in, but they all are, every 5 to 7 minutes, it comes back with more food. So, all right, so now we'll go through the People's Choice. And bronze goes to Nick. Silver goes to me. And gold medal goes to Stephen. And that's it. I am not looking for volunteers because we don't need any judges next month.
Right.
And
We're having food.
Huh?
We're having food.
We're having food, but everyone in the room needs to vote when it comes time. You'll receive an email saying it's time to vote for the Happy, Joy People's Choice Award. And then, is there any other business? Anybody? Going once? All right, that's the end of the meeting. Thanks.
We're done. Thank you.